Shripad Paramhumskariyushkacharya Ashtadara Shata Shri Srimata Bhaichana Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Guru Parampara Ki Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Shri Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Giri Govardhan Ki Giri Govardhan Ki Yamuna Maya Ki Ganga Maya Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Transcendent Distributed Book Shri Prabhupada Ki Grand Traction Bhagavatam Ki Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Itai Gaura Brahman All glories to Assembled Lord All glories to Assembled Lord All glories to Assembled Lord All glories Shri Guru Shri Gaura Lord
Krishna Premarupa Dasa.
Ist die Stimme rüber geworden?
Ja, irgendwie hat gesagt, es fühlt sich nicht so gut an.
Ja, hat sich ziemlich angeschlagen angehört.
Ja.
Stimme gestanden.
Hare
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Giriraj Maharaj ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna. So we'll try to glorify Giriraj Maharaj today on this very auspicious day of Govardhan Puja. And Kanai Krishna Prabhu was meant to give the class, but somehow I jump in, trying my best. So, the glories of Govardhan are unlimited, and there is many beautiful descriptions in our Gaudiya Vaishnava literatures that glorify Govardhan in many different ways, and it's a wonderful opportunity to meditate on these glorifications. And as I'm just preparing a seminar on the Mana Shiksha, Rabindranath Das Goswami in the first shloka describes how one should develop attachment to Guru, to Gauranga, to Krishna, and to the Holy Dham, to Vrindavan. It's interesting, Urmila Madhushishi comments that the path of bhakti is all about attachment. We often speak about detachment. We should not do this, we should not do that, we have to detach ourselves from the material world. It's very much emphasized on attachment from the material world. You cannot do this, that. But actually bhakti is all about attachment. It's about, of course, the right thing. Attachment to the spiritual master, attachment to the Vaishnavas, attachment to the Guru, attachment to the Holy Dham. And today is a wonderful day. We can increase or develop our attachment to Shri Vrindavan Dham, and especially to Govardhan. So it's described in the scriptures how when Krishna understood it's time for him to again appear in the material world to manifest his leelas, he told Radharani, get ready, we're going to the spiritual world, to the material world, perform our pastimes. But Radharani was not willing to go. She said, how can I go to the material world? There is no Yamuna, there is no forest, Vrindavan, there is no Govardhan. And then Krishna said, no, we already made the arrangement, everything will be there, Vrindavan will be there, Yamuna will be there, and Govardhan will also be there. Then Radharani said, if Giriraj is there, then I will come. If Giriraj is there, I can also go. And it's described, of course there is different description of how Govardhan then appeared in this world, and most of you will know the story, how it's described how Lord Krishna's father Nanda Maharaj once inquired from his brother Upananda how Govardhan actually came into this world, and Upananda replied that Pandu, the king of the father of the Pandavas, had also asked the same question to grandfather Bhishma, and he had told the story from the Garga Samhita. And in Garga Samhita we find this description that, as I just mentioned, Srimati Radharani was hesitant to come, but when she heard that Giriraj comes, then she was ready to come. And it's described that many years before this, in the land of Salmari Dvip, there was the wife of the great mountain Dronachal. It's just interesting, Bhagavad describes mountains as persons. There was a big mountain named Dronachal, and he gave birth to a son named Govardhan. And they lived happily. This mountain family, they lived happily. But one day, then there was one sage, there was a sage named, a yogi named Pulastya Muni. So he did a pilgrimage. He visited many places. When this Pulastya Muni, Pulastya Muni, when he saw Govardhan, he felt like, wow, this is such a amazing mountain, and I like to do my tapasya on the top of these mountains. He was from Kashi, and in Kashi they have Ganga, and of course it's a very holy place. But he felt, yeah, we have Ganga, but we don't have hills in Varanasi, Kashi. There's no hills, so I like to take this Govardhan with me, and then place it there in Kashi, and then can nicely meditate, see the Gangas, and meditate. So of course, Dronachal and his wife, they were not so happy about this idea. But then, okay, they agreed. But then the question was, how will he bring the mountain? Yeah, because Pulastya Muni, he became angry and he cursed. So he had to give Govardhan, and then how to carry. So he said, I will carry him on my hand. I will just bring him there. But then there was a condition that if you place Govardhan once, then he will not move anymore. Okay, no problem. I can manage that. So then that sage, that Muni, took Govardhan, and with his mystic power, just was flying in the direction of Kashi. But on the way, when Govardhan noticed, oh, we are now in the area of Vrindavan, that's the place actually where I'm supposed to be, because Krishna will appear, and this is an eternal pastime. So then, by his arrangement, he made that the Muni felt a certain urge, to the call of nature. So that without thinking much, the sage just stopped, placed Govardhan, and then went to some bushes, did his business. When he came back, he couldn't lift Govardhan. And in this way, Govardhan was manifested in Braj. Interesting how these things happen, right? But then Pulastya Muni became very angry because he wanted to take the mountain to Kashi. So he cursed Govardhan that he will every day he will sink for the size of a mustard seed and will become smaller. And this is how it's described, that Govardhan becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. Because many of you have been to Vrindavan, some of you have not been. But if you hear about Govardhan, the greatest hill, and we see the pictures of Krishna lifting Govardhan, then finally when we go to Govardhan, oh, where's the mountain? Especially if you come from Switzerland. Where's the mountain? Hey, here, it's a hill, But this is the reason, because it's described that when Govardhan first came to Braj in the beginning of the Satya Yuga, he was 8 yojans long and 5 yojans wide and 2 yojans high. That means 64 miles long, 40 miles wide, and 16 miles high.
Wow.
We have big mountains in Switzerland, it's 4,000 meters or something. But here we have 16 miles high, so very big mountain. But because of this curse, it is said that after 10,000 years of the Kali Yuga, Govardhan will have completely disappeared, because every day becomes a little smaller. So we are lucky we still can see Govardhan, but after 5,000 years, Govardhan is not visible anymore, according to this curse. So that's how Giriraj appears. Now, it's interesting that Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there's different ways how to worship Govardhan. Basically, there's 2 ways to see the Lord, see Govardhan. 2 ways to understand. And one is, as we can see from the pastimes itself, and in the Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, chapter 24, text 35, we hear the following description. Krishnastvam anyatamam rupam gopa vishrambanam gata shailasmiti bruvam buri balim adhal priyat vapu. Krishna then, assuming an unprecedented huge form to instill faith in a coward man, declaring, I am Govardhan mountain, he ate the abundant offerings. And in text 36, Tasmai nama vraja janai saha chakra atmanatmane aho pashyata shailauso rupina nukaraham vidyat. Together with the people of Braj, the Lord bowed down, because Krishna bowed down to his form of Govardhan hill, thus in effect offering obeisances to himself. Then he said, just see how this hill has appeared in person and bestowed mercy upon us. So that's one way to see Govardhan as Krishna assuming a form. And as we know the pastime, how Nanda Maharaj and Elder Gopas, they were all ready to offer their worship to Indra, as they did always. They made all the preparations, they did all the preparations for the puja to Indra, and Krishna was still a very small boy, so he went there and asking, so what are you doing here? What festival is celebrated? And first Nanda Baba didn't even bother so much to explain, you're a small boy, you don't understand. Let's the adults do their rituals. He didn't even bother, but Krishna was very insisting, what are you doing? And why are you worshipping this Indra? Well, we are Vaishyas, we are farmers, we depend on rain. Just because of the rain we have grass and then the cows, milk and everything. So naturally it's a custom that every year we do Indra Puja, because we are dependent on his mercy, and by his mercy rain is coming. And then, of course, as we know, Krishna started to argue with his father and presenting the Karma Mimamsa philosophy. What is a Karma Mimamsa philosophy?
You just perform your action and you will receive the...
Yes, it's a kind of an atheistic understanding that you're not dependent on God or any gods. There is certain laws in the universe. There's the law of karma. It's a universal principle, and you just do your duties, and as a result, you get the result. So if you're a pious person, then naturally you just get everything you need. No need to have a separate worship. And what were some of the arguments that Krishna made?
He was speaking about how the rains, they also fall in the ocean.
Yes, exactly. When it rains everywhere. Even in the ocean. The ocean is full of water. There is no need for the ocean to have water, but the water is just pouring like mad into the ocean. And the ocean never has done any puja. And water is also going there. But this is proof. It's anyway rains. Why are you doing this puja for some god? It's not required. So this way he was speaking and preaching to his father. And of course, Nanda Baba, okay, let us do our Indra Puja, and then afterwards we can also, because then Krishna said, let's just worship Govardhan. Because actually Govardhan is for us is more important than Indra. Indra is far away somewhere in the sky. But Govardhan actually is here, and Govardhan is providing so much to us. What is a mountain providing? Well, from the mountains there is waterfalls, and there is very sweet nectarian water coming from the Govardhan hill. So there is nice water coming from Govardhan, and there is there's grass, there's special grass, and there is special there's caves, and so we should worship Govardhan. He's our cows. They like to be with Govardhan. So the father said, okay, we can do that, but let us first worship Indra, and then afterwards we still can worship Govardhan also. But then Krishna became very why are wasting time? And already paraphernalia is already there. You already have the play, the puja, the offerings are already made. You could just use that for Govardhan. Otherwise, it's big endeavor. And of course, by his very sweet and charming way, his of course divine powers, somehow he just bewildered Nanda and everyone. And okay. Then this year let's worship Govardhan. And they started to do all kind of arrangements for Govardhan Puja. So all the paraphernalia they would usually use for Indra, this time they used for Govardhan. And how did they do that? Especially cooked a huge feast. They cooked many different preparations. All kind of rice, sabjis, and all kind of snacks and sweets and preparation they offered to Govardhan. They also offered, arti and puja, and they had a big parade circulating, doing parikram around Govardhan Hill. And in his Krishna book, Prabhupada says that in the Hare Krishna movement, all over the world we are celebrating this festival, and how, and Prabhupada says, and on this day, the Brijbasis, they come together and celebrate. They have a lot of foodstuffs, and they even throw the foodstuff at each other. and then the foodstuff is on the ground, and they take it up and eat it. So this shows how prasad is never contaminated. I don't think we will do that this evening. Imagine people will throw prasad. Hey, take a gulab jamun, take some halwa. But in the Vrindavan they sometimes do. But they also take the food from the floors. That's the question, whether we are able to do that. Yeah. And then it's said also in the Bhagavatam, if someone is not worshipping Govardhan on the day of Govardhan Puja, what will happen to him?
Snake.
Yes. some of the snakes who live there in Govardhan, they will come and bite you, you will die. So we have to worship, we have to celebrate. This is it's a very important day to celebrate Govardhan Puja, as the Brijbasis did. But then, as described in the shlokas that we just read, because in some way it was a bit a risky business, and maybe some of the villagers also felt a bit, okay, what happened to Indra? So, in order to, make the devotees convinced this is a good thing we do, then as described here, Krishna then assumed an unprecedented huge form to instill faith in the coward man, declaring, I am Govardhan mountain. He ate the abundant offerings. So all of a sudden this hill became alive. Imagine that. All of a sudden Govardhan became alive and took a huge form and ate. And he was very hungry. They brought so many foodstuffs to feed him. And it's described here how everyone offered obeisances to that form of Govardhan Hill. And the Lord Krishna himself also offered obeisances. And in effect offering obeisance to himself. So in this way we can understand Govardhan like that Govardhan is a manifestation of Krishna, not different. And we see, that's why also sometimes we see devotees, they worship Govardhan. Of course, Govardhan Shiva is worshipped everywhere. And sometimes also Govardhan Shiva is worshipped with flute and peacock. Not different from Krishna. At the same time, Govardhan can also be worshipped in a different way. And this is also described in the Bhagavatam. Let's see. Oops. Because it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Puri, Jagannath Puri, down, as we know, he was, especially in his the later years of his life, he became completely absorbed in transcendental, pure love of God, ecstasies. And he was always in the mood of Vrindavan. And wherever he looked, he would see Vrindavan. So when he would go to the Jagannath Vallabha gardens, he would immediately think of the Vrindavan forest. when he would see the ocean, he would sometimes think that this is the Yamuna. I mean, it's quite a big Yamuna. But you know, Mahaprabhu was so much in ecstasy, he saw Vrindavan everywhere. And there is this Chataka Parvat, which is just a sand dune?
Sand dunes.
Dunes. Just like a little sand hill. So Mahaprabhu took it as a Govardhan, you know, became very ecstatic and ran towards it and jumped into the sand and worshipping as Govardhan Hill. And it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita how when Mahaprabhu saw this Chataka Parvata, he immediately recited shloka from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's 10:21:18. Let me see. How to chant this one? Hantayam adri apalam haridasa varyo yad Rama Krishna charanas parasha pramado manam tanoti sahago ganayosthayor yad pani yasuya vasa kandara kandamulai. So Mahaprabhu would say this shloka, of all the devotees, this Govardhan hill is the best. Oh my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram along with their cows and cowherd friends with all kinds of necessities, water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respect to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhan hill appears very jubilant. So in this shloka, Govardhan is described as Haridasa Varyo. And Haridasa means servant of Hari, a devotee, Bhakta, and Varyo means the best among the servants. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies Giriraj as the best of the servants, as a Bhakta, as a devotee. So Govardhan can be seen, yes, as no different from Krishna, but Govardhan's identity actually is also a devotee of Krishna. He is a great servant of Krishna. And what is his service to the Lord? Srila Vishnavacharya Thakur explains the opulences of Govardhan hill as follows. Panya refers to the fragrant. So there is a nice fragrance coming from the hill. Then cool water from the Govardhan waterfalls, which Krishna and Balaram drink and use to wash their feet and mouth. Govardhan also offers other beverages such as honey, mango juice and pilu juice. Then Suryavasa indicates durva, grass, used to make the religious offering of arghya. Govardhan also has grass that is fragrant, soft and conducive to the strong growth of cows and increased production of milk. Thus this grass is used for feeding the transcendental herds. Kandara refers to the caves where Krishna, Balaram and their friends play, sit, lay down. These caves give pleasure when the weather is too hot or too cold, or when it's raining. Govardhan also features soft roots for eating, jewels for ornamenting the body, flat places for sitting, and lamps and mirrors in the form of smooth stones, glistening water, and other natural substances. So in this way, Govardhan serves the Brijbasis in many different ways. So yeah, that's interesting to see how Govardhan, and there is some description of that also. Actually, the grass of Govardhan is very special, and when the cow eats this very fragrant, soft grass, then they produce absolute nectar milk. That milk, Krishna enjoys that milk, and from that milk products are performed. And then also it's described that the water that flows from Govardhan I mean, I have never seen a waterfall at Govardhan Hill, but maybe 5,000 years ago there were waterfalls coming from the Govardhan Hill. And this water is not ordinary water. It's described that actually when Krishna and Balaram touches the Govardhan Hill, then out of ecstasy Govardhan is crying. And the tears of Govardhan manifest in the form of this river. And therefore that river, in that sense, these tears, they're not coming from the eye, but they're coming from the heart. Real tears come from the heart. Like, some Hollywood or Bollywood actors, they learn how to cry. They just know how to, or some sahajiyas also, they know, they put some chili somewhere and start to cry. But through tears, they come really deep from the heart. And in the case of Giriraj, he's so in ecstasy when Krishna and Balaram come, then these tears, they manifest as river. And then when the devotees, the gopas and the gopis, when they drink the water, actually they drink liquid love, love for God. The love, the bhakti, the devotion that Giriraj possesses is then in the form of that water which is drunk. So in this way, and the stones, actually the stones of Giriraj become soft, and the imprints of the feet of Krishna can be seen. And the caves are also special because in the summer they give a cooling effect, and in the winter they're warm, they're giving some shelter. And in this way, there is unlimited glories of Govardhan's service. And Raghunath Das Goswami has compiled a beautiful prayer, the Shri Govardhan Vasa Partana Daksham Dasakam, which is 10 prayers to Giriraj, especially glorifying him in this form as Haridhasa Varya, as the best of the servants. So not so much as Krishna himself, manifestation of Krishna, but more as a Bhakta. And of course you can say Shakshat Haritvina Samasta Sastra, that the Bhakta actually is not different from Krishna in that sense. But amongst Vaishnavas there is different opinions on how to look at Giriraj. Some put flute and people gonna say, no flute, he's a Bhakta. So, there's different ways to approach. But Sri Raghunath Das Goswami approaches Giriraj as a Bhakta. Let me see how to chant them, maybe not chant all of them, but this one. Nicha pati bucha danda chatraka bhavam prapadaya pratihata mara kristo danda devandra karva atula pritula shaila shreni pupa priya mehi nicha nikata nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Virat Gurudev Saraswati ki Shishyananta ki jai. O Shriman Giri Govardhan, King of the hills and mountains, who is spread far and wide, please give me a place to stay with you, because like an umbrella you were lifted by your master, Bhagavan Krishna, and rested in his hand. The Lord crushed the pride of the heavenly king Indra, who was very puffed up and proud because of his opulence. So Govardhan is glorified as the king of all hills and mountains, and became an umbrella, like an umbrella Krishna. O my dear Govardhan, please give me a place to stay with you, because the loving conjugal sweet Leela of Radha and Krishna has been manifested in each of your caves. Staying with you, I want to see those sweet loving conjugal Leelas of Radha and Krishna. And then these are commentaries by Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj also. He says, if you ask, why do you want the place with me? If you want to see these sweet pastimes, you can see it anywhere in Vrindavan. And the answer is, because you are very dear to Krishna. And because you're very dear to Krishna, if I'm close to you, then maybe Krishna also recognizes myself. That's the mood of the devotees in principle. And that's in the, I'm not going through all the shlokas, but that's basically what is the message here. Oh Govardhan, if you ask me, there are many places in me, which place do you want to stay? In answer I may say, oh my dear Govardhan, I want to stay at a place named Radhakund, because Radhakund is very dear to Krishna. And then it's interesting, your name is Govardhan. What is Govardhan actually means? Govardhana?
Nourishing the cows. Nourishing
the cows. Your very name Govardhanas is well known throughout the three-planetary system because you're nourishing the cows. The Govardhan is nourishing and Go is the cows. The one who nourishes the cows, especially with the nice grass which is growing there. Therefore, if I obtain a place with you, it will be very easy on my part to have the darshan of my dearest Lord Krishna, who goes every day to you to tend the cows and calves of Nanda Maharaj. If you say this Vrindavan covers 5 yojans, 40 miles, it is like Krishna's body. Anyone may stay in any part of Vrindavan and fulfill his desires. So why do you choose to stay with me? In answer I may reply, O Giriraj Maharaj, please see, this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Hari Dasa Bharya, is coming from the lotus-mouthed, moon-like face of Srimati Radharani. This verse explains that you are the chief of all Hari Dasas. This is the nectarine name you have received. Therefore, all Vedas have described you as the new and wonderful Tilak of Brajabhumi. This is very clear. What more shall I say? To stay with you is the most befitting place for me. Therefore, O my dear Govardhan, please give me a place with you. So that's why this is the prayers usually when devotees do Govardhan Parikram, then sometimes also there is this custom that you take a little Govardhan, some stones, and you put them on each other. You build like a little house. Have you seen that? You see little stone houses? The prayer is that, may I get some residence at Govardhan. May I stay near to you. And why do we want to stay near to Govardhan? Because Govardhan is so dear to Krishna. And if you stay near to Govardhan, then Krishna certainly will also recognize us. So these are some of the glorification of Govardhan. And of course the pastime continues. So far we only mentioned how Govardhan, how Krishna manifests as Govardhan and then eats the food stuff. And everyone was very happy and big festival. But only one person was not so happy. Who was that? Indra. So, and then it's beautifully described in Bhagavatam how Indra became very, very furious. Saying, what is this? How can these villagers just disrespect my authority just because of this little boy speaking nonsense? So what did he do? He called for his Samavartaka clouds. And these are actually the clouds that usually they're used to at the end of the, how is it, the end of the existence when the universe is meant to be destroyed. So very powerful clouds. And Indra was so angry, he completely forgot about himself and about anything. So he was just full of anger and he wanted to destroy everyone in Vrindavan. And I want to express my appreciation to the pujaris and the team who made this beautiful decoration. It's very nice how we can really see the Leela is manifesting in front of our eyes on this beautiful altar. Very nicely done. With the heavy clouds and rain showers. Oh, some Prishpasis also have appeared, I see. They were not there at the Mangalarti. Yeah, because first of course the rain comes, and then it's described in Bhagavatam, Krishna, when everyone started to cry and oh my God, what's happening, and everyone is in anxiety, they're calling out for Krishna's help. It's described that Krishna picked the Govardhan as a small boy just picks a mushroom. Like, how much endeavor does a boy require to pick a mushroom? A mushroom is very appropriate because mushroom is like an umbrella, as a form of an umbrella. So that's easy way, Krishna just picked that mountain, and to show, to demonstrate how easy it is for him, he didn't do it with the right hand, but with the left, because usually we are working with the right hand. That's why our shoulders are also, the right shoulders are more painful than the left. I can understand from the massages that I received. So Krishna took the purposely the left hand, and not only the left hand, but not with the whole hand, but just with a small little finger. The little finger is the weakest finger on the left hand. And with this, he just, holding the mountain, just to show, like this is nothing for me. It's very easy to, make Indra even more angry, to crush the pride of Indra, and we will talk about this in a moment. To crush the pride of Indra, just with little endeavor, I hold these mountains, and yeah, we can very beautifully see it on this altar today. And then, of course, Krishna is calling all his friends and Brajbas says, please come, don't worry. And it's something to worry. No, the small boy holds a hill, and you go underneath. What happens if the small boy isn't able to hold it anymore? But Krishna says, please come, take shelter. Sarvadharma parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papayam moksharam masucha. Don't be afraid, don't worry. Masucha, don't. Just come, take shelter. So they come, they take shelter. And there's beautiful description of the pastimes, what happened, because we may think, oh my God, there is this rain, there is a storm, and it's underneath the hill, just was uprooted, there must be just earth and dirt, but no, actually the beautiful place was manifested underneath that hill, and they had a very, very blissful time. And what was the most blissful aspect of this 7 days and 7 nights, where Indra was trying to flood the Brajbasis, but they were just happily taking shelter under the transcendental umbrella? What was the most blissful aspect of it?
They have association with Krishna.
Everyone could see Krishna for 7 days and 7 nights. That was very unique, because usually everyone is in their daily activities. They're all separated at least at some point. Now Yashoda, she's very happy in the morning, waking up Krishna, decorating him, dressing him, washing, and then feeding him. But then Krishna is going out with the gopas and taking care of the calves, and he's away the whole day, and she's in separation to him. Only in the evening when they come back, then she's very happy to receive Krishna again. Or to speak of the gopis, they don't see him the whole day. They're waiting, they can meet him in the middle of the night. And then they see him for a couple of hours, and then again they are separated. But here, everyone, all the different devotees of the Lord, they were able to be with Krishna for 7 days and 7 nights without interruption. And everyone was just looking and staring at Krishna in bliss, and that's all they did. Krishna standing there holding the hill, everyone was just looking at him, and everyone was just in bliss. And in the Ananda Vrindavan Champu, we find some beautiful descriptions. What happened there? Let's see. So Yashoda was a bit chastising. Rajeshwari Yashoda then addressed her son, "Oh my darling child, you always act impudently due to the force of your uncontrolled senses. For years we peacefully observed the Indra Yagya, but then you abruptly stopped it. Disregarding the demigods never brings auspiciousness. How can one find fortune if he shows enmity towards the demons or the demigods?" So she kind of, now we are with this. That was in the beginning. She was like, "What's going on because of you?" As I said, I'm not really prepared for this, so please be with me, my friend. Yeah, they were worried that, you know, like, of course, Mother Yashoda was very worried that Yashoda was worried that, you know, does Krishna actually has enough strength to hold this hill? No, Krishna was holding the hill, but can he actually hold the hill for so long? And then Batu, who is Batu?
His friend, Brahmin friend.
Brahmin friend. He said, "Oh Queen of Vrindavan, don't you know that this great mountain is sitting on the lotus hand of Krishna by the strength of my mantras and special powers?" He was, you know, like, yeah, Krishna is holding the hill, but actually he's holding the hill because I'm chanting constantly mantras and I'm giving blessings, and I'm a Brahmana boy, I'm giving blessings. Because of my blessings, Krishna is holding the hill. And Yashoda said, "Oh, impudent one, what kind of nonsense are you speaking? I'm burning in anxiety over my son, and you making these jokes." And of course, in the meantime, everyone is enjoying to see Krishna's beautiful form. And then one Vrajvasi said, "Oh Radhika, your face is supremely beautiful. Do not make your eyebrows dance while Krishna is holding up Govardhan, for that will severely agitate his mind. Then his arm will start shaking violently and cause the mountain to immediately fall off his hand. Please do not cause such a situation." So they were worried. And actually, in fact, it happened because everyone was looking at Krishna. Everyone, and it's described that everyone had, you know, according to their rasa, they had different relationships with Krishna, but everyone was enjoying this pastime together, which is the very unique feature of this pastime. Usually they're all separated, and everyone has their own rasa and their own pastimes, but here everyone was together. And it's described when actually Krishna and Radharani's eyes, when they met and they saw each other, actually Krishna started to tremble. Because seeing the beauty of Radharani, he was like... And then the coward men, they took their sticks, you know, like, don't worry, we help Krishna, with their sticks, they were holding also the hill. And in this way, there's many descriptions of they had very beautiful pastimes underneath the hill for 7 days and 7 nights. And in this way, they had a wonderful time. It's described not a single Vrajvasi was harmed, nobody got wet. Even over the Govardhan, actually, although all the rain was dropped on Govardhan, but still Govardhan was kind of completely, protected by the Lord. And of course, after 7 days, 7 nights, Indra became very, worried. What's going on here? And at some point, he realized, oh my God, I did a big mistake. He could realize the power of Krishna and understood actually he is the Supreme Lord. And then it's described how Indra goes there and at the Govinda Kund is the place where actually then Indra with Surabhi offers apologies and worship to Krishna. So I'm sure we will hear more in the evening about the pastime and all the details, but I will end with just a few thoughts on. Of course, there's many different lessons. Whenever we have these pastimes, there is different lessons that we can learn, and one of the lessons is that Krishna does not like if his devotees become proud. Pride is not really appreciated by Krishna. And Indra is a devotee of Krishna. He's a deva. He's a very responsible post. But because of the post that he got, post kind of made him, a bit intoxicated by this, fame and glory and power, and he forgot his position. And this is a great stumbling block on the path of devotion if one becomes proud. And Krishna is expert in crushing the pride of his devotees. And we have beautiful descriptions also in the Bhagavatam. We know the prayers of Queen Kunti. Janmaishwarya Shruta Shri Bire Demana Madapumam Naivarhatya Vidatam Vaitam Makinchana Gochanam. Where it is described that those who have this, those who are akincha gocharam, that means those who are materially exhausted, they can easily approach you, Krishna. But those who are intoxicated by material opulence, such as Janma, like good birth, Aishwarya, wealth, Shruta, like learning, and Shri, by beauty, they become, if they are becoming intoxicated by these opulences, then they become very difficult for them to sincerely call out your name. So in that sense, of course, these actually, these attributes are results of piety. If someone was pious in a previous life, he get a good birth, he will be intelligent, he will have wealth, he will be beautiful. That's a result of good activity, and the opposite is also true. If someone is ugly, if someone is, maybe not so intelligent, if someone is bad birth or poor, this is results of sinful activities. But here is described that, of course, and piety is important, and it gives us a chance to perform devotional service. I mean, gives a chance, it's a good platform to develop bhakti, but it can be a big stumble block, and Prabhupada beautifully describes in the purport. First is described that the scriptures say that the holy name can rid a sinner of a quantity of sin that he is not unable to commit. Like, if you have one lifetime, you can only commit a certain amount of sin, right? I mean, if you get up every day and determined to commit sinful activities, and you that your whole lifetime, and every day you do consciously sinful activities, but even then, just one pure name of pure holy name can actually destroy all that sin, more than you can ever do. So powerful is the holy name. And sometimes you may think, well, that's a bit, no, that's just exaggeration of a statement, but actually it's not. Prabhupada says, actually the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterance also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but is incapable of uttering the name in quality. So only if we become very humble and actually seeking out for help, crying for the Lord's mercy, in that mood of helplessness, then we actually can approach the Lord in a humble mood and actually chant the holy name properly. But if there is pride, then we cannot, because we think we are something special. And that's why Krishna is expert in crushing the pride of his devotees, and I end with a story or two on that. Most probably you know these stories. Once the demigods, they were victorious over the demons. They became very proud. And we are the greatest. And Krishna saw that they were proud, so he kind of made arrangements to crush their pride. So he took a form of a yaksha, a celestial being, and appeared in the sky. And the devas, they saw, who is that? What kind of being is he? He had special effulgence and looked very bright. Nobody knew him. They were wondering, who is that personality? So Indra said, let's check it out. So he sent Agni and Vayu to check. So Agni came there, and Agni went to the Yaksha and said, who are you? And the Lord, in this form of the Yaksha, said, who are you? I'm Agni Dev, you know the fire god. Everyone knows me. Agni Dev. Okay, so what can you do? I can burn anything. And then the Yaksha took a little straw, a little kusha glass or something. Can you burn this? And he felt insulted. What is going on here? Then he wanted to, with his shakti, he wanted to burn, but he couldn't. He tried hard, but that Yaksha was just standing there with this grass, and he couldn't, he couldn't burn. and completely confused and completely frustrated, Agni left. So then Vayu was sent. And the same story repeated. Vayu was asking, "Who are you?" And the Yaksha asked, "Who are you?" "I'm Vayu, the wind god. Everyone knows me." So what can you do? "I can blow away everything." "Can you blow away this little grass?" And Vayu tried hard, but he couldn't even move that grass. He was completely shocked. And then he said, so he left, also very humiliated. And finally Indra himself came. But when he came, that Yaksha, that being, already left. And then, but Uma was there, Parvati, the wife of Shiva, was there. And Indra, "Well, who was that person?" And Uma was laughing at him. "You're the king of heaven, you don't know? That was the supreme personality of Godhead." And this way, the pride of the devas was crushed by Krishna. So sometimes Krishna makes arrangements to crush our pride. And in the story of that we just heard, Govardhan Lila, Krishna specifically wanted to crush the pride of Indra. So that's one of the lessons. There is more, but one of the lessons. And for us, of course, we should always remember that no matter how advanced we may think we have become in our devotional life, no matter what kind of roles and position we take in different services that we perform, we should always remember that Krishna does not like pride. And Krishna is very much attracted by... Actually, nobody likes a proud person, isn't it? I mean, even in our... if a person is a very proud fellow, it becomes very unattractive. Like, what is he thinking? It's not attractive. But if someone is very humble, very simple, then everyone will like that person. Everyone will love that person. Very natural. And Krishna also is very much attracted to those who... And that's the beauty of a Vaishnava, because the materialistic people, although they actually don't have many good qualities, but they think they are very great, and they think they're very good. But a Vaishnava who actually is full of all good qualities, he's always behaving very humble. That's the beauty. Just like a tree who has many fruits, like if a tree has no fruits and he stands straight, like no fruits. But if there's many fruits, heavy fruits on the tree, then the tree naturally goes down. Because there's many fruits. There's a lot of... The tree has a lot to give, and there's many good qualities, so naturally the tree will go down. So that's a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is loaded. A guru, the word guru means heavy. He's heavy. Why? Because he's loaded with spiritual realization, with spiritual knowledge. So he becomes very heavy. But that same guru who is very heavy, he also becomes very humble. Usually, a Vaishnava, when he preaches Siddhanta, when he preaches Krishna Katha or from the scriptures, he can be very strong, but in his personal dealing, Vaishnava is very, very humble. And we see that with all the great Vaishnavas, how they are strong on one side, but also very, very meek and humble. And that's which is very much attractive for Krishna. And this is one thing we can remember on this day. How can we sincerely develop this humility? And in this way, please Krishna. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Premanande Hari Bol. Okay, so these some thoughts. And we will hear more nice katha in the evening. We come on Krishna Prabhu. Any comments or questions? Yes.
I heard once that Krishna not really took birth in this world, that he just kind of lifted the curtain to the spiritual world, to the eternal Leelas, which never stopped. And I was thinking that Govardhan in the spiritual world is not getting smaller like here. So he never got cursed in the spiritual world, or the curse is not reaching him there. And I was thinking about that.
You were reflecting on this.
Yes, and then I thought, is it like this, or is it because of our conditioned perception that we don't see him, and that pure devotee maybe sees him in his eternal form, even here?
Okay. Yeah, that's about the Shri Vrindavan Dham. I mean, it's described that there is Bhoma Vrindavan and there is Goloka Vrindavan. Bhoma Vrindavan is the Vrindavan that is manifested on this earth, and that there is the eternal Goloka Vrindavan in the eternal spiritual world. And in some way, of course, they are non-different. Like the Bhoma Vrindavan here on this earth is non-different from the spiritual abode, and spiritually non-different, potent also. At the same time, there are differences. For example, on Bhoma Vrindavan we have this childhood pastimes, and in the spiritual world Krishna has a certain, of course, I mean, but he usually has a certain age, and also especially on Bhoma Vrindavan we have demons attacking. And you know, in the spiritual world you don't have demons. You have there is the stories about the demons who attack. I mean, they are there in kind of as part of the Leela, no? Because they're singing the glories of Krishna, how he killed Putana, how he Tirinivarta, all this. It's there, but it's not actually there. You know, because a demon cannot be there in the spiritual world. But in the material world, then these demons are actually there, and the pastime is manifested. So in this way we can see there are differences, and also Govardhan is eternally manifested there. It's certainly not shrinking in the spiritual world, it's always there. In the material world, shrinking. But yeah, the other point is also that, of course, if you have the eyes, because if you go to Vrindavan now, what can we see? You know, we hear the description in the books that Vrindavan, every tree is a wish fulfilling Kalpataru, a desire tree, and there is the forest, and there's the peacocks, and every stone is like a jewel. And when we go to Vrindavan, we see hardly any trees, you know? And if they certainly don't look like desire trees, and instead of jewels or gems on the floor, you see plastic bags. And you don't you don't seem to really see the Vrindavan that is described. But if you develop the proper vision, yes, it's also said that a pure devotee actually, till today, still can see the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, even now. But that requires then a spiritual vision. And the places are there, and even for us, conditioned souls, we can, if you go to the place of Vrindavan, we can feel that this is not an ordinary place. We can feel Krishna's presence, and that's also the mercy of the Vrindavan, of the Holy Dham, that everyone has some access to it, but to really realize the Dham, one requires that proper attitude, which is basically a service attitude. You need to enter the Holy Dham. Sometimes we ask, like Divya Singha just went to Vrindavan, and Prasad just came back. Now it's time devotees go to Vrindavan. We ask, so are you ready to go to Vrindavan? Yes, I packed, I have my visa. Are you ready to go to Vrindavan? Because to have a visa and a flight ticket is one thing that you need to go to Vrindavan. But when you go to Vrindavan, you need to be ready in a sense of having the proper consciousness to actually enter Vrindavan Dham. Because if you just go there to Loi Bazaar for shopping and MVT for a nice lasagna and see your friends, that's, of course, it's kind of part of it also, but if it's only that, then you're missing out something. I don't know whether it's answers, but maybe partially. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So we can say that the lifting of the curtain was happening, and it's somehow kind of the footprints of this happening, of lifting the curtain, that like all, because there is the difference, but still it's the same. Yeah, it's quite hard to understand with the mind.
Sure, it's,
but we cannot understand.
We can't really
with
understand,
the
yeah,
mind.
but it's in fact there is like a little layer over Vrindavan which makes us see the material things. But if, by the mercy of Krishna this is lifted, then we actually can see the spiritual dimension.
Okay.
Like if you have a cloth, is it cloth? Hanshu? Gloves. You don't see the hand. Although you see the movement of the hand. But it's covered. So similarly, we can see, but we don't see fully. It's covered. But if it's lifted, then we can see the real form, the real reality.
When I was in Vrindavan, I felt it. So I couldn't see it, but I felt it.
That's what I'm saying. It's Krishna's mercy.
I was curious how it is connected. Like, yes, thank you.
One is that when Krishna was lifting the Govardhan hill, so everybody took shelter. So even Jatila and Kutila took shelter. But somehow still, I'm just wondering how they took shelter, because they were quite averse to Krishna in a way.
Well, I guess, I can't comment on the basis of Shastra, but I guess if you have to choose between standing outside in the rain and being in danger to be flooded away, because these are serious floods, or being with someone you don't like, then most probably still decide, okay, let's tolerate this situation for some time at least. But I personally find it fascinating that in this lila everyone is unified, in a sense. Everyone is all participate in the same lila, which is otherwise very rare. It's nice. Yeah.
And when we circumambulate Govardhan when we are there, and then I was thinking of course there's always this lingering question whether we see Govardhan as a devotee of Krishna. But as devotees, I was just thinking it would be nice to have some insight, because on a personal level when I circumambulate Govardhan, I just think, oh, this is Krishna. But at the same time they say you shouldn't take a Shila away because a devotee cannot go away from Vrindavan. So what should be our mood? Is it like we could personally choose our mood, or?
It's interesting, and I'm not sure about this. This one, I'll give you an example. There is a controversy also about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wearing peacock feather, yes or no, right? And in some way you can say there's no controversy because Prabhupada introduced it to us. There is no because Prabhupada did, it's no controversy. Because Prabhupada wanted to show the world that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and for people, for visitors to come to the temple and see the deity, if they see there is a peacock on Mahaprabhu, then they understand this is Krishna, and that's what Prabhupada wanted to show. At the same time, before Prabhupada, no Gaudiya Vaishnava did this before, in the sense of with the understanding that because Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani, searching for Krishna, if you put peacock on his head, he is confused. This is disturbing his mood in the sense of, wait a minute, I'm in a mood of searching Krishna, and now you're saying I'm Krishna. This is kind of, if you, as Puchari, we show the mirror. We show the mirror to Mahaprabhu, and he sees himself with a peacock. It will be, it will be quite shocking for Mahaprabhu. I'm Krishna, I'm looking for Krishna. It will be confusing. So in that sense, you could say, no. But one sadhu told me that we are always trying to understand things with the right and wrong. But sometimes it's not a question of tattva, but it's a question of rasa. Because from the point of tattva, Mahaprabhu, is Krishna, and at the same time he's also not Krishna in the sense that he's in the mood of Radharani. So similarly with Govardhan, from the point of tattva, we can say from this, the Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says he's Harivarya, he's a devotee of Krishna. That's clearly established. At the same time, Bhagavatam himself says that Krishna bowed down to himself, and Prabhupada also has a lengthy purport in a Krishna book, making the point that this is actually Krishna himself. So we have both. So from the point of tattva, we can say both is there, and then there is most probably more a question of rasa. And Prabhupada, I will have to make some research on, but I think Prabhupada emphasized more the fact of Krishna, and I know that other acharyas emphasized more the aspect of Haridasa Varya. Then I guess it would be a question of rasa, which, especially those who have Giriraj, who worship Giriraj, they have to ask the question. If you worship every day Govardhan, you should know in which mood do I worship. But I don't think it either is wrong or both are bona fide. That's how much I can say, but it's a good question, and I was afraid that this topic comes up. You can ask this evening. Let's see what Kanai Krishna Prabhu says. Yeah. You can ask him. Okay, then I will end here. Viraj Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Krishna Premarupa
I'm going to worship cow. It's a Gopuja. So do we have any cow today?
We don't have cows in the garden. I know it's in India, it's a very big thing. It's important for many. Yeah, you could. There is some devotees farms organize some trip to Konto farm. Maybe next time.
Es geht schon viel einfacher.
My question was more if, on a personal level, we can choose our mood.
whether this is something we can do or whether we should, maybe we could, most probably we should according to the version.
Because we all check that, whether or not we can pick up that Master Shriman is talking and he just randomly mentioned that the Reiki worship ministry and Devata minister just came up. And then he said, for me it was very simple. And he said the mood of ministry doesn't know. And then the mood of ministry knows.
Yes, yes.
Especially в плане, что мы выпускаем настолько могущественные и простые вещи, но это кажется, надо что-то примитивное. Уже, я просто видел на клиенты, там они уже разбирают еще что-то, но при этом спят там, да, и куда-то еще. Да, то есть без этого не может быть. Если не знаю,
Yeah.
Why is the Brajavasi standing on the base?
I don't know. I didn't put him there, but he's climbing a tree.
Why is he climbing a tree?
Yeah, because he wants to reach it. Yes. No, I didn't see that.